Hello, my name is Tarkowska. I'm a software developer in Omero team based in Dundee. Today I would like to talk about Omero Public Repository and the web interface. My presentation mostly will cover how group and permissions work in Omero, about user authentication, publishing the data, customizing a repository, especially web, and performance and scalability. Public data in Omero. Omero allows publishing data through various ways. It is possible to open the entire repository and make it publicly available, where web client will serve the data. It's also possible to limit access only to the specific images and use image link. In addition to the link, it's possible to embed those images directly in HTML custom pages, and the alternative way is to write a custom application and serve the data as it needs to be seen. Here are a couple of examples of public repositories. IDR is a prototype platform for publishing, mining and integrating image data. It's linking to independent studies from genetic, RNA, chemical, localization, and geographic high-content screens, super-resolution microscopy, and digital pathology. IDR is using vanilla web client, and it opened the whole database to public access. JCB data viewer, it's using just Omero web viewer. SSBD is another example of the open database, and Center for Cell Imaging is using our custom application Omero Gallery. Here are also two examples of restricted repositories where people first has to log in and to browse through the data. Virtual Microscope is a digital pathology browser for our medical students, and CRS4 also developed a system for digital pathology based on Omero. Deployment. First, what we have to do is to create the read-only group to make sure the data that will be published won't be altered, and the user who will be automatically authenticated by web application, it will only have a read permission to the public data. Once we have group and user created, as I said before, the public visitors are logged in as this special public users. Visitors are able to access the data, all the data available for that user, and functionality exposed can be controlled by URL filters. The appropriate filters can define which part of the web client is supposed to be accessible by public user. The entire documentation is available on our public data page on our doc. Once we have a basic setup set, then we can prepare a data to publish. First of all, what we have to do is to choose which data we want to publish and then move it to the public group, the group we created a few seconds ago. Once the data was moved and appropriate filters were applied, then data can be accessible via link. Here are a couple of examples of link to image, to the multidimensional image viewer, as well as there is direct link to thumbnail. And appropriate filters has to be applied to make sure These two URLs will be validated and accessed by the public user. The alternative option to link is embedding the viewer directly in a custom HTML page. It's possible to put the entire viewer and make this content more dynamic, allow manipulating channels, load ROIs, hide them, play the movie. This is all done by static HTML content on a custom external page. This is an example how the embedding works. Omero Web offers minified CSSs and JavaScripts. It's enough to define viewport, load appropriate image based on ID, and image viewer will appear on the page. Here is another example of whole slide image also embedded to the custom page. As I said before, in some cases it's possible to use Omero Web to publish the whole repository. That here are examples of. This is IDR and this is virtual microscope. As I mentioned before, there are also possibility of writing custom application. For example, like GCB made their data viewer, Sysgro, Center for Cell Imaging in Liverpool using Omero Gallery. Another applications, examples of applications are Omero Figure, web tagging, and web test. For if someone is more interested, the web test is the best source of information how to write a custom app. Customization. When we are running a public repository, there may be a need for customizing web client. There are various ways of customization. First is customized by using plugins. The entire documentation about customizing web client and how plugins works is available on our website. Here are a couple of examples how to customize, for example, a center panel that in addition to standard thumbnail view, it's possible to add additional plugin, like here we add auto tag. On the right hand side, it's possible to customize right panel tabs, add additional, like here the ROI preview. This is something which is experimental at this moment. We are trying to make a left hand side panel more customized and take advantage of the existing data tree. That at the moment this is a proposal for a custom map annotation application that allows to browse data through map annotations values. We also offer additional minor customization, like on the login page it's possible to add the institution logo or even write own template handling login page. It's after login, it's possible to define where actually user who logged in supposed to be redirected to, that not necessarily to the main view. Sometimes we may want to redirect to particular data, particular user that owns the data. Also, it's possible to write a custom view for post login page. That here's an example how we use it in virtual microscope, where students after logging in they are redirected to a list of courses, and they have to basically choose one of those, and then they can browse the data. This is an example how to override that view on index page. In the web client, it's possible to add additional top links into the top menu. Those links can be either custom application or external URLs. It's also possible to customize groups and user drop-down menu. At the moment, we allow to change those labels, grouping users and owners of the group. Here is an example of how we use it in virtual microscope, where actually we decided to take advantage of users and groups and use them as additional levels of hierarchy. That what you saw before, that students choosing their courses, they are actually choosing which user they want to browse through, browse the data from, and it's possible to hide some of the part of the menu as well. That more, it's definitely more of those is available on our documentation. It's also possible to customize orphan container. There were requests where because this container is used to drop the newly imported images, it's now possible to change its name. When we are running public repository, it's worth disabling scripts that can be run against data, because in this case those scripts won't run and they will fail, that there is no point to display them and let people to choose them. When you're running public repository, it's also worth to keep in mind whether data, raw data from the server should be restricted from download or not. The policy for restriction can be defined by Omero policy. And then if we turn off, for example, here, it's not possible to download data, download images, then the drop-down menu in a web client won't give access to download button. In addition to UI customization, it's also possible to turn on email notification. As, for example, if people who administrate Omero, they would like to contact users, then they can do from web admin application. They can send this to directly to particular users or groups, or notify everyone, for example, about upgrade of the system that's coming or similar. Here's an example of the mail configuration. LDAP authentication, it's one of another ways of simplifying system administrator life and creating users automatically. That here is an example how to set up basic LDAP configuration. The additional information about mapping groups and users, how to make sure certain users are able to log in and restrict others from LDAP. We also offer LDAP command line interface, that it's also possible to maintain LDAP users from command line. All of that is documented on our website, and what I will skip. Here I would like to show you a couple of experimental customizations. The first is caching. When you're running public repository and the data is read-only, that it's worth turning on caching on various URLs. That here is simple example of caching rendered images. Then this will help web and server to handle definitely more requests at the same time and perform much better. Here is another example of web customization where basically it's a new approach for storing HTTP session. This is an in-memory data structure store. Here is used to store HTTP session that improves the performance and disk usage, because file-based sessions were filling hard drive quite heavily, and depends on the settings, it may be hard to clean them up without additional scripts. Then Redis is much simpler to handle and works and improve the overall performance. Future work, we're planning to make more work on the web client REST API, prepare complex JavaScript and JSON API, do definitely more work on cache, allow integration with third-party systems. For example, Omero single sign-on and authentication. This is on our to-do list still. Complex usage of ROIs and annotations. And we are planning to focus more on read-only server for publication and horizontal scaling. I would like to thank you, our boss, Jason, and Omero team, and our sponsors.